Hi everyone, welcome to this lightning talk where I'll be discussing how I developed short asynchronous tutorials on AI literacy topics for students. Just to introduce myself, my name is Emma Quinn and I am the Learning and Curricular Services Librarian at St. John's University in Queens, New York. So as part of my position, I do a lot of work on information literacy instruction at the university, both in in-person and online modalities. Before getting started, here is an overview of what we'll be talking about over the next 10 minutes or so. I'll start by giving you some context on the current situation at my university and why it became important to develop asynchronous information literacy modules, plus an overview of why we selected LibWizardFull as our tool to build these modules out. Then I'll discuss the growing need for AI literacy resources for our students and for students everywhere, and the process of developing a series of AI literacy modules. Finally, I'll reflect on the project so far and discuss our next steps and our plans for assessment in the future. I also have created a Padlet, which you are welcome to take a look at. You can either scan the QR code on the screen on your phone, or you can use the tiny URL that's currently up on the screen. That Padlet is going to have spaces for you to answer some reflection questions if you'd like, and also ask any questions. And I'll be checking that Padlet, through the week or two after the conference, and I'm happy to answer any questions you post there. So, some context on the situation. St. John's University is a Catholic university located in Queens, New York. It serves a diverse student body of about 19,000 students with a large undergraduate population. All first-year students, they take a class called First Year Seminar, which recently added information literacy skills to its course learning objectives in a redesign of the core curriculum. Because of this, the number of requests for in-person information literacy instruction one-shots has become very large, and it is impossible for a fairly small number of library faculty members to meet that demand in a sustainable way. The Dean of Libraries, Caroline Fuchs, determined that in the long term, the library needed an intentional and thorough series of online information literacy modules covering essential topics. So I started at St. John's in January of 2024, and I was tasked with overseeing kind of leading this project. My kind of vision for these modules included the following kind of very important aspects. First, they would be fairly short. They should be able to be completed in about 10 to 15 minutes. So this is a bite-sized amount of information rather than an extensive amount of information. It's so students can find what they need and then get out. I wanted uh, the modules to have multiple modalities. So there will be text, there will be images, videos, and also interactive elements like quiz questions and reflection spaces for students to be able to participate in the learning. And then finally, I wanted there to be opportunities for assessment and data collection so that we could both assess the current status of the modules, but also find places to improve and also have numbers for the usage. So the next step was selecting which tool we were going to use to host the modules. And I came up with these 6 priorities for how we would decide which tool to use. Of course, ease of use, especially for students. We wanted them to be able to kind of have this barrier-free access to these tutorials, but also for library faculty building modules. We wanted them to be easily findable, and that kind of ties into open educational resources. We didn't necessarily want something where students would have to have a student sign on or have to double authenticate to get into them. There were analytics, so we wanted to make sure that we could collect consistent and accurate data on the usage and the experience of students using these modules. We wanted to look at engagement. We wanted opportunities for students to have interactive elements. We wanted them to look nice. We wanted them to be something that students would be interested in using. Accessibility, so making sure that all the modules could be accessed through things like screen readers was very important. And so that was a major consideration. And then finally, price. We had a very limited budget for this project. And so we wanted to make sure that we got the best tool we could in the budget that we had. So we ultimately decided to build these modules using a tool from SpringShare called LibWizardFull, which is an upgrade from LibWizard Lite. And that adds a tutorial building tool. And you can see an image of what the tutorial building tool looks like here. So we chose LibWizardFull for a few different reasons. First, we already had a relationship with SpringShare. We subscribed to the other kind of LibApps tools, which made this significantly more affordable compared to other external tools that we would be, investing in without a pre-existing relationship. It also meant that the libraries would have ownership over the data and the detailed analytics, which was very important to us because the learning management software on campus, Canvas, we had difficulties accessing the data from there. There were interactive elements. It also is theoretically ADA compliant. I've had people say that they've had issues getting screen readers to work. And so to make sure that regardless, it definitely was accessible, we also created transcripts in Microsoft Word of every tutorial. So if students are having trouble with their screen reader, they can also use that. Or if they just want to read the information in a Microsoft Word document, they can. So, oh, and then the other thing was that because LibWizard wasn't within Canvas, that meant that students didn't need to use a single sign-on to access the tutorials, which is something else that we wanted to prioritize. So in the summer of 2024, I built out the first 5 modules on basic information literacy topics, and then we began piloting them throughout this school year, the 2024-2025 school year. Now, at the same time that I was developing these new information literacy modules, this rapid expansion in AI usage and different AI tools into students and all of our lives was impossible to ignore. In the spring of 2024, I had created a LibGuide on basic AI literacy skills, but I soon realized that this need for AI literacy resources could also be addressed through asynchronous modules. So I decided to build out an additional 5 asynchronous modules on specifically AI literacy topics. And so the first 5 modules were titled, What is Generative AI? AI and Academic Integrity, Citing AI Tools, The Ethics of Generative AI, and Tips for AI Prompting. I selected these topics because I felt as though they could be addressed thoughtfully in the 10 to 15-minute module length and were the skills that students needed most critically to succeed in this new AI integrated information landscape. I personally am far from an expert in generative AI, and so over the course of the fall 2024 semester in preparation, I attended several trainings, and I even ran a faculty focus group on teaching AI to see how best to support students. I then use that knowledge when building out these modules. So to take a look at what these modules look like on the student end, they look like this. The tutorials can also be embedded into another website. So if that is something that you'd prefer, you can do that as well. And so it's a fairly intuitive user interface. There is a way to go from page to page here. And then you can see your progress down here at the bottom. And so this is what a title slide would look like. Here is an image of what the quiz feature looks like. It's an interactive element called questions, but you can add single line, short answer, radios, checkboxes, a whole variety of things, and all that information is collected. So you're able to get a decent amount of data from this. So this is what a question would look like. And then finally, here's what it would look like to embed a video. And so that's great because students, instead of having to go seek out external tools, we can integrate them right here, right? The video is embedded right here. They can watch it and they can continue with the tutorial. So unfortunately, a lingering technical issue about video hosting permissions has meant that these modules have not yet gone live at the time I'm recording this in February 2025. That hopefully will be resolved very soon and the modules will be able to go live. In the meantime, I've started piloting the modules with some colleagues in core studies faculty, and have received mostly positive feedback thus far. I am very excited to actually launch these officially and get larger numbers of students using the modules and also some more data to look at. This project is still very much in progress. In the future, I plan to gather feedback from both students independently completing these modules and faculty who are assigning the modules as an assignment to improve the initial modules and then also determine what other modules could be helpful for upper level students, for more advanced skills, for more specific disciplines. So the great thing about these being asynchronous online is that students can access them anytime, anywhere, and they don't need to use their single sign-on. And that also means people who could benefit from this information who aren't part of the St. John's community can also readily access that. The modules are also going to be part of a campus-wide badge program that's launching this fall, which is basically you can earn badges for completing certain trainings, certain tasks around the campus. That's still in kind of early development, but it'll be a way of kind of legitimizing these modules. You would basically complete 5 of them and then take a post test. And then if you pass that test, you would earn the badge, and students can put that on their LinkedIn and things like that. Ultimately, rather than starting from scratch, when I realized I needed more rigorous, more broad AI literacy resources for students, it made more sense for me to integrate the demand for AI literacy resources into my pre-existing asynchronous modules. The flexibility of these modules means that I'll also likely be able to use them continuously for ongoing technical developments rather than starting from scratch each time. Thank you very much for tuning into this presentation. Please feel free to reach out via email or contribute to the Padlet if you have any questions about anything I discussed, and I'd be happy to answer anything that I can. Thank you very much, and have a great rest of your day.